On a crisp autumn morning, the bustling runways of Johannesburg's OR Tambo International Airport set the stage for what began as a routine flight. South African Airlines Flight SA-742, a Boeing 747 proudly dubbed the Pride of Africa, was poised for departure. Bound for London Heathrow, it carried 320 passengers and 21 crew members. The atmosphere was one of calm anticipation, a blend of excited travelers embarking on adventures and business professionals immersed in their work. In the cockpit, Captain Johan Botha, a seasoned pilot with over 15,000 flight hours, conducted final checks alongside First Officer Amanda van Rensburg. Confidence radiated from the crew. The weather forecast was clear, promising a smooth journey across the African skies and beyond. At precisely 9:15 a.m., the Boeing 747's engines roared to life, propelling the massive aircraft down the runway and into the skies above Johannesburg. Passengers watched the city shrink below them, marveling at the sweeping landscapes. As the plane climbed, a serene routine unfolded. Cabin crew offered beverages, passengers flipped through magazines, and families shared quiet moments of laughter. For a fleeting moment, everything seemed perfect. By 9:37 a.m., the plane leveled off at 20,000 feet, cruising smoothly above the Karoo Desert. The calm lulled passengers into a sense of security. Then, out of nowhere, disaster struck. A sudden explosion shattered the tranquility. Flames erupted from Engine 2 on the left wing, and the aircraft jolted violently. Passengers screamed as drinks and belongings flew across the cabin. In the cockpit, alarms blared, cutting through the tension. Amanda's voice, steady yet tense, called out, "Engine 2, fire!" Captain Botha's hands moved swiftly over the controls, his years of experience kicking in. He attempted to shut down the engine, but before the crew could react further, another explosion tore through Engine 3, also on the left wing. The plane's balance was thrown into disarray. Losing two engines on one wing was catastrophic, causing the aircraft to tilt perilously to the left. Designed to withstand an engine failure, even two, the Boeing 747's capabilities were being pushed to their limits. Captain Botha's voice crackled over the radio. "Mayday, Mayday, this is South African Airlines Flight SA-742. We've lost two engines. Declaring an emergency." Inside the cabin, panic reigned. Oxygen masks dropped as the air pressure plummeted. Flight attendants, though visibly shaken, leaped into action, assisting passengers and issuing urgent instructions. Captain Botha and Amanda wrestled with the controls, their combined expertise preventing a full spiral as the plane began a rapid descent. Despite the chaos, there was a glimmer of hope. The crew plotted a course to the nearest airport, determined to attempt an emergency landing. Over the intercom, Amanda's steady voice reassured passengers, "We are holding steady. Prepare for an emergency landing." Her words, though calming, underscored the gravity of the situation. Passengers clung to their seats. Some prayed silently, others held hands with loved ones, seeking comfort in the face of uncertainty. The cabin crew continued their efforts to maintain order, their courage providing a beacon of strength. At 10,000 feet, the crew's tenuous control was shattered. The strain from the damaged engines proved too great. Without warning, the outer section of the left wing broke away, sending the aircraft into a violent spiral. Captain Botha shouted commands, desperately trying to regain control, but it was too late. The Pride of Africa began its final descent. At 9:55 a.m., Flight SA-742 plummeted into the outskirts of a small town in the Karoo Desert. Witnesses on the ground watched in horror as the flaming aircraft tore through the sky, trailing smoke and debris. The impact leveled several buildings and erupted into a massive fireball, reducing the once proud Boeing 747 to a smoldering wreck. The scene was catastrophic. Debris scattered across the desert engulfed in flames. Emergency responders from nearby areas rushed to the site, braving the inferno to search for survivors. Their courage in the face of unimaginable devastation became a beacon of hope in the midst of despair. First responders, firefighters, paramedics, and even local volunteers worked tirelessly at the crash site. The intense heat from the remaining jet fuel made it perilous to approach. Despite the odds, their efforts were not in vain. Among the wreckage, a miracle emerged. A handful of passengers had survived. The rear section of the plane, separated during the crash, had landed on a softer patch of ground. Among the survivors was Elena Marovich, a 28-year-old medical student traveling to London for a conference. Though bruised and disoriented, Elena's account of the crash became crucial in understanding the moments leading up to the tragedy. She credited the crew's instructions with saving her life, recounting how their guidance helped her brace for impact. News of the crash spread rapidly, plunging South Africa into a state of mourning. Families of the victims gathered at airports and hospitals hoping for news. The tragedy dominated global headlines and tributes poured in from around the world. The loss was immeasurable, a stark reminder of the fragility of life and the unpredictable nature of aviation. In the aftermath, the aviation industry faced intense scrutiny. Investigators worked tirelessly to determine the cause of the engine fires and structural failure. The findings prompted significant changes in safety protocols. Enhanced fuel line inspections. Airlines were mandated to conduct more rigorous inspections of fuel systems, especially in aging aircraft. Improved fire containment systems. Engine manufacturers developed advanced fire suppression technologies to prevent similar catastrophic failures. Revised pilot training programs. Training for dual engine failures and asymmetric thrust scenarios was intensified, preparing flight crews for extreme emergencies. These changes, though born from tragedy, strengthened the foundation of global aviation safety. Amid the mourning, stories of heroism emerged. Elena Marovich's survival story highlighted the importance of calmness under pressure. Flight attendant Sarah Daniels was remembered as a hero, selflessly helping passengers secure oxygen masks and brace for impact, even as the plane spiraled out of control. These accounts added a deeply human dimension to the statistics, reminding the world of the individual lives touched by the disaster. The crash of South African Airlines Flight SA-742 remains one of the darkest days in the nation's aviation history. Yet, from this tragedy arose a renewed commitment to safety. The lessons learned reshaped the industry, ensuring that such an incident would be far less likely to occur again. For the families and survivors, the pain endures, but they find solace in knowing that their loved ones' sacrifices were not in vain. Today, the legacy of Flight SA-742 lives on, etched into the hearts of those it touched and reflected in the safer skies above us. This story serves as both a somber reminder of the risks of flight and a testament to the resilience of the human spirit.